The following clip you're about to see is a small excerpt taken from my exclusive show on Rumble called Lies You Can Trust. It's fully uncensored because Rumble does freedom of speech. You can check it out live every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. Central Time. But for now, enjoy this clip. When it comes to listening to people talking about gender in front of city councils, I'm all ears. When I hear someone's going to lecture a city council on gender, I'm just like, how can I watch? Can I see it live and pay-per-view? I would be delighted to pay. This is going to be an educational opportunity for me. I'm going to learn a lot. It's going to be a learning moment for me. I'll feel real bad about myself, but also sorry, I got monkeypox at a pickleball orgy, but I'll feel very enlightened about so many things. Yes. Sign me up. So luckily, yet another gender identity activist, who I believe is also a they. Oh, think about that. Was lecturing a city council in some town that I don't care to even remember. Pronouns are she, him. So this person's very self-aware. She, him, they. They are one of the theys. Think about that. When I see videos like this, and this one is phenomenal. You can see here. This one's phenomenal. I find it doesn't matter what topics are up at city council. It's always appropriate to talk about gender. It's like, hey, should we take out that four-way intersection, put in a roundabout for traffic flow? Let me tell you about gender. Yeah, that's relevant here. We need to hear about that so we can make the best informed decision about putting this roundabout or not. What is gender? And how do we even go about having this discussion that seemingly should never end? Because gender is so mysterious. We're the side that believes in science, too. This she, him, they had a lot of mic drop moments. And I think you'll be as impressed and informed as I was. Let's take a look together.
My pronouns are they, them.
Nice.
At least that's what I share with people most often. But for this particular meeting, I will come out fully as saying,
well, how lucky could we be at this important meeting? Not going to leave it at, you need to know I'm a she, him, they. You need to know more because this is city council. And I think this town is ready to hear my full story. By the way, I love if just severe, if that was an emotion unto itself, him, they captures severe already. Kind of like in a way that it's like borderline mental condition. In fact, maybe over the line. That's severe. And this is the time to just be severe. It's your words, your body language, the knowledge you're going to drop. Because we're talking about gender. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear more.
Saying that my pronouns are she, they, him.
Yeah.
Now, I don't usually go into that.
No, the world's usually not ready for you to go into that. That's profound. It's like secret knowledge, Dead Sea Scrolls, the Ark of the Holy Covenant. Like, I don't know that humanity can handle it. She knows that humanity most of the time can't handle it. Almost like they don't want to hear it. But it's really they can't handle it. But at this city council meeting, they, she senses now's the time to let the light shine.
Because it becomes a quite interesting, delicate conversation about what it means to be a man, what it means to be a woman.
Shout out to this person in the back for keeping us all safe with the mask on.
And I get that. That is a conversation that we don't generally have.
It's almost like we don't need to. What is a man? What is a woman? Gender, gender, gender. When my son was 3 months old, he knew what boys and girls were, but he was ahead of his time. I think he was like Dalai Lama reincarnated. But most people, it's just, we not only do we need this conversation, we want to have it. Let's talk about what a man and a woman is. Never reach any conclusions. It needs to be an ongoing conversation, especially at a city council meeting. Why? Because it's relevant. And if you don't see how it's relevant, congratulations, bigot. Let's hear more from they.
As young people, or even as adults in our current culture. Fair enough.
I like that. Current culture. We're not talking about 1850s culture. I would have thought we were. Current culture. Are you talking about the culture 300 years from? No. Current culture.
So I will simply say what I told my 60-year-old father, who was also born
Nice. Her dad was born. Write that down, council members. I want to hear that again.
Who was also born, raised in the Madison area, like myself.
Myself? I don't think my is one of her pronouns, but we're going to let that slide. That's a little inconsistent.
I asked him, do you know what it means to be a man? And to his credit, he said, no, I don't.
Yep, I'm sure her dad doesn't know what it means to be a man. I'm sure it's not just a scenario. It's like, here's my psychotic daughter. And if I give her a straight answer on what it means to be a man, it's 2 hours of her screaming at me. She'll take off her homeless looking hat. She's so angry. She slams it into the floor, snot running down her nose, crying hysterically, then goes into how Trump's a maniac. 2 hours of my time to say, yes, I know what a man is. And then I tell her, screw that. I'm going to tell her, of course, honey, as a man, I don't know what it means to be a man. It would have nothing to do with my testicles, would it? Yeah. So let's save myself. Of course, I don't know what it is to be a man. Why don't you, as a woman, why don't you tell me what it is to be a man? Okay? Because you think you are one. So because you're a woman who thinks she's a man, sometimes, why don't you tell me, could you lecture me what it is to be a man? I'm sure that's not the case. It's just her dad genuinely didn't know what's a man.
And then I asked him, do you know what it means to be a woman? And again, to his credit, he said, no, I don't.
To his credit, yeah, she has certainly not just beaten her father into obedience with vile, emotional, charged volatility, lecture after lecture. To his credit. Beautiful.
And then I looked at him and I said,
notice the tone. She's pulled us all in. And then I said to him, this lady she's not only telling a good story, she's good at telling good stories.
And then I looked at him and I said, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
That's where I land.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Dad got the right answer. Good for him. Saved him 4 hours of time. That's pretty much it, Dad. You don't know, and I don't know. Now we're going to make this about me. That's how it is for me, ×2. So I have my manhood, I have my womanhood, I have my theyhood, and I'm wearing a hoodie. That's how it is for me. I don't know. So the brilliance of this, if you follow her logic, and indeed there is some, and it's brilliant, she has to live with the pain of suffering, of not knowing what her manhood is, not knowing what her womanhood is, not knowing what her theyhood is. Who better to lecture city council on gender than someone who doesn't know what her manhood means, her womanhood means, or her theyhood means? I want a teacher what's the subject? Accounting? Cool. I want a teacher who says, I don't know anything about accounting. That's who I want to learn from. And that's who this city council gets to learn from.
I land at an understanding that my womanhood, as I was assigned at birth.
She went to the hospital that assigns it. They didn't observe it. They assign it. There's a baby, just like a Barbie set of no genitals. It's just smooth, no openings, no phallic, no nothing. Doc, what gender should we assign? Womanhood? Okay. That's what we're going to assign her. That's what happened at this hospital she was born at.
Does not come from my ability to produce children or to behave in a feminine way.
Which I suspect she can't.
And my manhood.
There we go. You hear that one more time. You might not have heard her correctly. You might have thought, I thought she said manhood. Well, she did. That's exactly what she said.
And my manhood does not come in the form of my genitalia.
It certainly doesn't.
Or that can be lost too.
For that could be lost too. What never was, for that could be lost too. Mic drop. And if you notice her body language, her face, her hand, her tone of voice, you know how profound these statements are, according to her. And indeed, she thinks they are very profound. For that could be lost too. And I apologize if this is too emotional, if it's too much wisdom, if it's just too much emotion for you, I apologize, but please stay with it here for all of us. Because if you don't, for that could be lost too.
Or that can be lost too.
Yes.
And so there is a discussion to be had about.
They're having it, and there is one to be had. We going to do the same discussion again? Yes, it will be had.
There is a discussion to be had about gender identity and understanding of what it means to be part of the LGBTQ community.
Yes. Forgive me, I'm a little lost for words. I think this has been a profound statement of not knowing what manhood is. She knows enough to know that she has it. Not knowing what womanhood is, but she knows enough about it to know she has it. To, of all people, city council, how dare they try to run the city without this knowledge and the continued follow-up discussions on what is gender? Oh, you think you can collect taxes and repair roads, build bridges, have electricity going to 300,000 people? You think you can know that without knowing what I know about gender? You're wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a public service announcement from she, he, they, and I hope you heard it. I saw so much of myself in what she said, for that can be lost too. Anyway, so she's brilliant, and I hope you learned a lot. What's up, my friend? Here's my abs. Now, it turns out the key to losing weight, it's not in carbs or fats or even in probiotic-rich foods. Nope. The end game to having a healthy weight, as well as more energy in a long, healthy life, comes down to flipping a switch in your body. This switch flushes out unnecessary calories, and Dr. Stephen Gundry calls it the caloric bypass. And by activating this specific process, he has seen thousands, yes, thousands of people dramatically improve their health, even over the age of 50. This includes losing weight, having tons more energy, and having great, vibrant health just like you did when you were young by activating one key process. Dr. Stephen Gundry has lost 70 pounds himself through this process, and he's kept it off for 20 years. And his digestive issues are gone, his health is fantastic, and he feels younger and healthier than he did in his 40s. His video has been watched by over 20 million people, and you can watch and learn about it yourself at healthyfat.com/JP. It's linked below, and you can watch the video for yourself to learn how he has kept the weight off at healthyfat.com/JP.